Let's see. Am I live on anything? Hoo hoo hoo. I might. Oh yeah, I'm live on Twitch. Oh geez. Gotta mute this. Okay. So I'm live on Twitch, and it appears as though I'm live on youtube.com. All right, so let me go ahead and put in a video capture here so that you can see me. Where is my little video capture guy? Would there be a reason why I could not add my video capture? Let's see. Oh no, you guys, I don't need you to see that. Okay. Okay. It's been like a million years since I streamed anything. So, all right. So we want to do this. We want to do this. So weird that I can't get that to do what I want it to do. Let me make sure that my microphone is coming from the right place here. Okay, so that's coming from the right place, so there should be no reason why I shouldn't be able to put my little video camera up there. Why is my video camera says that it's on? I can't see it. Okay, so let's see. Hi, you can see me now. Perhaps you can. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and delete that, and we're gonna go to full scene, and now we are gonna try to configure the camera again. Okay, there we go. I'm right there. What a very flattering view of myself today, wouldn't you agree? So we're gonna maybe do something like this. Hi, it's Petimer Julie, live in the flesh. I'll go ahead and I'll just put random something in the other window so that you got something to look at over there. Okay, so we are live. It looks as though we may have 3 viewers across the platforms. Go ahead and leave a comment if you're live with us today on either twitch.com or on youtube.com. It looks like we've got 2 viewers on YouTube. Let me know if you can hear everything properly, as it's been approximately a million years since I last attempted. Oh, sweet. We've got Oso Wooby, and who's on like day 4 of Leiden. Congratulations. I called us all here today because I had just logged on. I'm violently procrastinating doing homework. And I got on my computer, as one does, and I got on flightrising.com, and I was going through my daily behaviors that I do, and one of them is that I move the dragons that qualify for an exalt bonus over to an exalt bonus tab to then take care of them, and I saw this absolutely crazy thing, which I'm going to show you guys now. Like, control yourselves. I freaked out, but I'm trying to spare you the freak out that may ensue here. When I press this button, dragons eligible for exalt bonus. It's like all of them. And this kind of like blew me away. We'll talk about it. You guys don't get to see any of my secrets. Okay, all right, all 4 of you. Thanks for joining me. Remember when I used to do this like all the time? Like there was a season of my life, if you would, where I did like live streams like every Sunday from 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or something like that. Couldn't tell you. Ooh, we're up to 7 viewers. Wow. Okay, so anyways, the big excitement of today is that like all of my dragons that are currently on sale. I listed them at a discount sales price yesterday. Like if we go ahead and pull these guys up, we'll see that they are selling for 75,000 treasure. And that is a discount on what they were priced at. I was selling them in the range of 125,000 treasure, 125 gems. And yesterday I went in and I repriced many of them. So the goal is that right now, Roundsy's Raffle Roulette has 5 Earth Sprites. I'm a little bit of like a greedy dragon when it comes to the Earth Sprite raffles. I believe I've won at least one previously, and the way that you do that is you just spend as much treasure as humanly possible in order to accomplish winning this. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of my bookmarks bar. You guys don't need to see that. Okay. So I'm trying to generate as much treasure as humanly possible to then purchase, or not purchase, to win the raffle and get an Earth Sprite. And I know this is greedy of me because I already have an Earth Sprite, but I might actually have more than one. Let's check. Just the whole dealio is that currency begets currency and the rich get richer. So I would like to get richer on Flight Rising, and the way to do that is by buying these Earth Sprites and then selling them. By buying them, I mean winning the raffle, because you can win the raffle for much less currency than you would spend on acquiring them outright. So what we're going to do is basically exalt all of these dragons that are not making themselves be sold. They're not selling themselves. And I just figured that'd be something a little bit more fun to do together than on my own, because it's going to take some time for me to handle these guys the way that I would like to handle them. We're going to move all these over to my exalt bonus page, and then we're going to perhaps level them up, and then we're going to send them on their merry way. Not the hibernal den. We want to send them to exalt bonus. And then we can move these guys up. This is like the preferred way by which I handle dragons that don't sell, is that eventually it'll be like, hey, you can exalt them. Which is really beneficial. And then we're also going to do the added work of heading to the hibernal den and then filtering for dragons here. It's a lot of them. A lot of dragons are going to serve the deities today. What a time to be alive. So, how's it going, Oso Wooby? You having a good day wherever you are on this fine planet? Are you going to be in the path of totality tomorrow? I and my kin, our family lake house, is in the path of totality, so we shall take to form a, what's the right phrase? A caravan to go to our summer home to view the eclipse tomorrow. I took the day off, so it'll be quite chill. Ooh, this guy sold. Okay, cool. All right, that's another feather in my cap. Let's take care of just my general dailies, the actions that must happen. So you guys want to hear something kind of silly? I have not been able to log into Neopets for just days now. Oh, Oso Wooby says, what is the path of totality? Good question. So the path of totality, that is the eclipse that is happening tomorrow in North America. There is a portion of the country that will see, there's like an avenue by which the crossing will appear as though there is a complete and total eclipse. And so the path of totality is where you will be able to see the full eclipse for just like, what, a couple of minutes. So that is what I'm looking forward to tomorrow. All right, let's go ahead and check out our achievements and pursuits. Title trouble. These things are not happening today. If the request is for me to do anything other than exalt a bunch of dragons. It's just not happening today because that's my dance card for the entire day. Incubate a nest to breed some dragons. All right, let's go here. Incubate some nests. Oh, beautiful. Who is this? Biakophy and Flipper. All right. And we're going to fling some more dragons onto the nests. What do we have here? Anybody who I particularly desire? All right, Gasp and Paz. I was on location this week, so for 3 out of the 5 business days, I was unable to participate in dragoning and neopetting. But anyway, so back to my point, I think that I got distracted. So I have not been able to log on to Neopets because I need to use my 2-factor authentication. And that's like the last thing that I could want to do. Oh god, this is going to be really fun. I shall now have to withdraw these dragons from the marketplace. This is why I decided to go live, because this is going to be a lonely day. Alright, let's see. We are going to... I'm going to need to use these hands in this way to cancel all of these listings. I'm holding down the enter key so I don't have to press like more than one button. Because I have to take these dragons out of the auction house now. Because I'm going to level them up and then exalt them. But anyways, so I don't have a smartphone, and my authenticator app is necessary for me to log in Neopets. So I keep my smartphones downstairs, and so I just like, I never have my smartphone on me when I'm like, oh, you know, it sounds like great right now, playing browser-based virtual pet games. So I just like haven't been able to play Neopets for like a week now because I guess I got logged out or something. Should I be concerned? I don't know. Sometimes you just get logged out of websites. I try not to exert that much thought about it, especially because my account getting compromised would require just the most work. So I'm not incredibly concerned about that happening. Also, I'd like to say hello, Kay Dracorex. How are you? How's your day going on this fine Sunday, wherever you are? These dragons had a chance to get sold. They didn't get sold, so now they shall be flung to the Ice Warden. I will turn my sound off on my phone so that it stops chiming. Let's see what we got here. So anyways, my phone is going off with communications regarding traveling to the Path of Totality. Alright, so we are going to have sandwiches and pizza for our Path of Totality viewing event. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to move. It's behind... I'll put it right here, I guess. Or maybe I can just make myself smaller. Oh, you're right. You probably can't hear the phone because this microphone's actually... Ah! Does this constrain proportions? There we go. Yeah, we're sending the dragons to Antarctica. That's a kind way to refer to what's happening here. But we are going to be sending them, I guess... Is it like ice jail, kind of, the concept here of the ice flight and flight rising? So, Kay Dracorex, you said that you are a flight rising player, is that correct? How are you enjoying the dragoning these days? And to that point, Oso Wooby, how are you enjoying the lioning these days? I haven't been on Lionin in like approximately 1,000,000,000,000 years. That's the that's an appropriate and not exaggerated amount of time. I'm just gonna check to see So Ice Tertiary, Imperial Breed, and Petals Gene, those are the bonuses for today. So the Ice Tertiary is giving the most. You see that right there? So perhaps while I'm doing this, because it is just a cartoonish excess of dragons that I have to exalt today, or that I get to exalt for bonus today, that I'm not going to have time to level them all. Uh-oh, my husband's home. I may turn off my microphone for a moment. He has acknowledged that I'm streaming up here. If he comes up, I might just turn my camera off for a second. He's training for a big race. Okay, anyways. There's now 28 viewers. Whew. Happy Sunday. When you guys choose to watch streamers, how is such a decision made? I'm curious to see. Yeah, I don't have like a thumbnail for this or anything, so I do not stream these days. So okay, so I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna look for ones with Ice Tertiary. This one has Ice Tertiary. Okay. Boy, it's a lot of dragons, guys. It's a lot of dragons. All right. This is kind of like my little talk show. So anyway, something interesting is ongoing. So if you guys haven't seen, I have a poll on my channel right now where I asked for your input on what kind of video idea would be most appealing to the general audience. And much to my surprise, currently in the lead is the concept of me covering the never-ending season of The Bachelor, which of course is a passion of mine. I care very deeply about the going-ons of the Bachelor franchise, and I'm just tickled senseless by some gossip in the community, the fandom, if you would. And so I'm happy to talk about it. I just had no idea there would be such interest in that topic. I've been working on a video about my light phone, and so that's what I had planned to work on when I sat down at my computer today. But alas, the dragons beckon, so we shall service the dragons. Oh, all of these chats are coming in from YouTube. You guys are all on youtube.com. Okay, let's see. So sometimes what I do when I have such a surplus of dragons to yeet into the ether is that for each battle I will like kind of sacrifice a dragon. So Perseus, you're gone, dude. What's this? All right. How exciting. So another way by that a person can generate capital in flightrising.com is by selling stuff, and like for a while there I had like 800 auction house listings at a time to manage, which is like you only have to manage them one day a week because they retire once a week. But it becomes like a bit like a full-time job to manage that many listings on Flight Rising. I mean, like once a week I would go through and like price things. I was really keeping track of what loot from monsters sold the best. It was like a part-time job, and I don't regret stepping away from it. So we are joined today by Bunny Kisses in the chat. How are you doing? You said that you have stepped away from Flight Rising. Any particular reason why you are no longer enjoying the scenery of flightrising.com? I'm quite impressed by what Flight Rising has accomplished. All right. Continually impressed by what they're doing with their site design. Something that I kind of struggle with is their new achievements/pursuit system. I find it to be entirely too tempting to turn flight rising into a full-time occupation now that they have the means by which you can continuously remain engaged on the site and generate endorphins for oneself. So it's a little too well designed. All right, we're going to swap that out for a different one of the same name. Osawubi says, which is better, flight rising or Lydon? And that is a complicated question. Kind of, it feels similar to like asking one to choose between their children. And what I would say is that they both excel in different ways. Lydon, you may notice I'm not playing, and I haven't logged on in quite a while. And I do think that it is structured as a really fantastic lion simulator. I think that the commitment to the bit is really impressive. I really like the developers, the moderators. The way that everything is structured is quite impressive. However, I do find it to be a challenging game to keep up with. And it just doesn't have the same draw to me that Flight Rising does. Flight Rising really feels a lot less like you can jump in and out easily. However, with the addition of achievements and pursuits, it does feel a little bit more like a vocation than it does entertainment. And Bunny Kisses says that the reason why they are not currently on Flight Rising is because life got in the way of tending to my dragons. And oh boy, do I understand that. I mentioned on the top of the stream that I am streaming right now instead of doing homework, which is certainly an act that will catch up with me shortly. I do have to take a quiz today. I'm taking a finance class. And also, we have like this group project that I should really check in on how we've decided to allocate the work and perhaps get a head start on doing so that I'm not the one holding my teammates back. We all do get individual grades based off of our peer review. However, it's best to, participate and not be the weight by which others are dragged down or experience stress. I do have a question for you guys. So I've done a couple of book videos, and I'm a bit of a reader. However, in the YouTube poll, I had posited a video idea, and that video idea was that I would review book list nominees based on their covers. And it's not doing very well compared to the other videos on the list, which are a little bit more random. So if you guys, what do you guys think of me just doing that idea? Or there's also the opportunity that I could do it members only. I have one member on my YouTube channel, and I'm sure that our good friend Cinder Sly, who's been a long supporter of my channel, long time supporter, would love to have a private video just for them. But I just don't know if it would entice folks to consider becoming a member to my channel or not. So, alright, we've got a familiar on this dragon. I'm going to release that familiar. I'm going to exalt that dragon. Yeah, so Oso says that they're more into the pet sims than the books. The challenge there is that I personally am not as into the pet sims, right? Like, I'm more into books than I am into pet sims these days, right? Like, the Neopets April Fool's joke took longer than 20 minutes to get to the final, I guess, the final reveal where the character takes off their mask. So I just didn't see it. I recorded for probably a good 15 minutes, but I was just like, this is excessive. I don't have 20 minutes to dedicate to a virtual pet game in a day. And for that reason, I'm just not making as much pet sim content because I'm just not playing, right? I'm not spending as much time on a computer as I have in other chapters of my life. So, Bunny Kisses says, I finished my master's, and maybe now is the time to do more virtual pet games, mainly Flight Rising, but also Meow. How do you pronounce that? Meower. Meower. The cat one. I've dabbled in Meower over the years. Does that have the same owners as it's always had? Or, I mean, I really ought to stay more abreast of the ownership and management of these games, but life is so short. You know, I mean, just the thing is that I would prefer to spend more of my time off of the computer these days than on it. Like, I'm probably only going to be on here for about 28 minutes more, so it's really incentive for me to churn these dragons out. If I suddenly find myself without a job, I was thinking about doing this video series where I treat Flight Rising or Neopets or perhaps Leoden like a job for 5 days. And part of it would be that I would hold office hours, which essentially would be me sitting in a Discord, or I guess me holding a stream. All right, so Bunny Kisses has got the tea about the Meower ownership, which I suspected that there was something going on there. I had heard rumblings in the community. There was indeed quite a bit of drama. There is new ownership. There was a huge thing with the old owners being kind of scummy. And so I do believe that I've had contact with said owners, and that it was like it was a really morally and ethically quarrelsome challenge for me to confront, because they had approached me to do some support for a game that they were shepherding through crowdfunding. And I believe it was them. It very well could have been a different pet game developer. And I had to ask myself whether or not I wished to be involved uh, because of things I had read and seen. And it's just a real weird position to find yourself in. Because I'm not really out here to like ruin anybody's life. And I didn't necessarily want to be flinging mud if I didn't have the opportunity to really do a deep dive and understand everybody's motivations. Because it just, and you know how life is, nothing's ever black and white, and I want to make sure that I'm representing like everybody who's harmed accurately. But it just would have been like a really heavy lift. In the last couple of years at work have been really strenuous, so I haven't had the opportunity to do like proper vetting. So, all right, let's go ahead and get another guy into the cannon. I don't know if I just said entirely too much. Okay. Let's yeet these dragons. I might do 2 dragons at a time now. I mean, the whole goal here is to make as much treasure as possible, but we also have to factor in my limited amount of time on this earth and whether or not I wish to spend all of it in the Flight Rising Coliseum. I am happy that you guys have joined me. So I am very curious about what, what? No, that goes over there. I'm very curious about what you guys think of different video concepts that I can do. And so there it is. Various video content that I could do. And oh my gosh. I have not done this in forever, so you just have to forgive me. Okay. All right. Okay, beautiful. So, if Pet Simmer Julie said I just cannot do as many virtual pet videos, what else would there be that you are interested in seeing or hearing, or if I should just not do such a thing? All right, where was that one? I'm interested in hearing from you guys. All right. Ah! So I flung a new level 1 up there. Beautiful. And yeah, Forbidden Portal. That's the one I want to do. There are just so many dragons. Did you guys see that Neopets April Fool's joke? I thought it was hilarious. Like, I had to really reel myself in. I wanted to go to the library and print off like all of those flyers and just put them up everywhere. It was like kind of an advertisement attack, or as known on neopets.com in reference to a game, a flash game, advert attack. And I thought it was really funny. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I thought they did a really good job of knowing their audience. So, Dinu, hi Dinu, how you doing today on this beautiful Sunday in April? Dino says, I love any kind of video essay format stuff. Listening to people talk about stuff they liked or didn't like is my entire jam. I also am really into video essays. So about once a day, my husband and I sit in the living room and we scroll YouTube on our TV and decide what to watch. Because we usually watch like shorter format stuff, like under 30 minutes. And so my big thing is that I'm always looking at video essays to feature. So we're most interested in video essays. All right. Yeah, this light phone video essay, I mean, it's a real challenge to film a video essay, as I'm sure you guys are aware. Just like the writing. And then I have a real struggle reciting a script. And so I've been trying to figure out the right way to do it with B-roll, etc. I have a really nice camera that I've been working with these days, so I've been capturing B-roll, but just making sure that the audio content and the visual content is just as strong. All right, let's go here. We're gonna exalt another one of these guys. Another tactic that I do when I'm going through this type of really heavy lift in the exalting dragons category is every time that it's my turn in a battle, I will exalt a dragon. So perhaps let's do that. We're going to exalt them for our cause. So those are quite lucrative prey in the battle dome, the Colosseum. Their loot is usually they have some really expensive loot. They're like Ferebus, I believe they're called, the three-headed cats. Bunny Kisses says, even if I know nothing about a topic, I love to listen to someone who's passionate about it. Yeah, and that's always quite a challenge for me, is making sure that I'm portraying the thing that makes me most excited about it. There are quite a few YouTube creators who I think are doing some really great things in the video essay world. If you guys want to share your favorites, because the YouTube studio only tells me like the big audience overlaps, which, as you can imagine, these days are the Neotubers. But I'm also interested in the what is her name? There are now two video essayists in our niche who wear quite a bit of, what's the right word? Who are quite aesthetically skilled. They're quite skilled at applying makeup. Oh, so Wooby says, advice I always give myself is don't overthink it, just figure it out as you go. You know, that's trying to make that is my YouTube channel. So I'm a content creator at work, and these days I'm producing a podcast by which I'm a host. And so the first couple of episodes this year that we've put out, I was really just trying to understand the new format that we are trying out. And I think we finally have hit our stride with what we are attempting to create. I'm much more of a completionist than I am a perfectionist. We are joined today by Comet, who says, hey, I've been following your channel for a long time. Hope you're doing well today. Thank you. I'm doing great, especially now that you're here. I am grateful for everybody for joining us on this blessed Sunday. So I've recently been reading a lot of historical fiction, and my husband recommended that we start watching The Gilded Age on HBO. And that's kind of like my thing right now. I can't get enough of The Gilded Age on HBO. I watched like 3 episodes the other day. Now, granted, I was captive in an airport terminal for the entirety of that time, but I also had a book with me that I could have read, and instead, I was watching The Gilded Age. The plane was delayed, so I had to entertain myself somehow. And oh, thank the heavens that you are not stuck at the Dwight Eisenhower Airport in Wichita, Kansas today, because they only have one restaurant, and that restaurant is Chick-fil-A. So the entire time that I was stuck in this airport, my flight was delayed by like, I don't know, an hour and a half, 2 hours. I had gotten there like 2 hours early because I had to drive across Kansas to get there. And so I was like, I'm not messing around. I'm just gonna go straight to the airport. What if they board early? My goodness. Was how lucky I was to not be there on a Sunday, because their only restaurant is Chick-fil-A. And as we all know, Chick-fil-A not open on Sundays. And I did kind of, I sat entertaining the thought for a while that perhaps it would be in Chick-fil-A's best corporate interest to partner with a ghost kitchen for Sundays that had completely different organizational hierarchy, so that nobody has to work on Sundays in the Chick-fil-A organization. But this other organization, perhaps a halal kitchen, could operate from there on Sundays. Or perhaps a charitable organization. Like, why can't Chick-fil-A be a soup kitchen on Sundays? Put your money where your mouth is, Chick-fil-A. Alright. I think we're making good damage. We're down to 75 dragons to fling off into the ice prison. Anybody in the chat from beautiful Kansas? I spent quite a bit of time there this week. I can't say that I have spent much time in Kansas before this day, so as much as I have. That's not true. So last year we did do a documentary series. Last 2 years we did a documentary series in Kansas. So I spent a little bit of time in Americus, Kansas. Not a bad little town. We stayed in Emporia, which has a really cool downtown. We've got some very fun pool hall there. I really enjoyed going there. So Dinu says, I am a proponent of making what you want to do for videos. Your joy matters more than YouTube's algorithm. And while I agree with that, I just want to make sure that I'm not alienating the folks who are really who've been supporting me for so long. It's like, yeah, I hope to identify that nexus by which my interests and the viewers' interests overlap outside of the niche. And so I'm hoping to find that. I've learned my lesson with the long book videos that if I'm going to do something outside of my format, that I might want to scale it down at first while I test the waters before I fully jump in, so I'm not spending like 5 days editing something that gets like 100 views. I mean, I make videos for myself first and foremost, but it's nice if they're for me and for others at the same time. Alrighty here. Don't like this. I mean, if I find myself suddenly in need of being a professional YouTuber, I think the answer is that I'm just going to be making Everskies videos only from here on out. I'm just kidding. That's a joke. Even though I've released some real Everskies bangers, haven't I? Like, the amount of subscribers on my channel that are subscribed to my channel because of an Everskies video or that DIY trunk restoration video. I really ought to have leaned heavier into home renovation and furniture building, I guess. I don't know. It's not about making money. If it was, I would have pivoted a long time ago. Alrighty. Moving these guys around. Somebody bought gems. Alright, let's open up the spreadsheet. So whenever somebody buys gems, I keep track of it. And I've been doing this since 2016, ladies and gentlemen. So we've got what? Somebody bought 11, which is 1050, the 1050 package. All right, there we go. I will say that probably the most profitable year was, geez, what a question. I think that as time has gone on, fewer people that I've recommended to Flight Rising are now purchasing gems. And so I'm getting a smaller cut of overall referrals, right? And if I really wanted to make the most out of the referral money on Flight Rising, by which I've made so much, and it's not money, it's in-game currency, I would make like a bunch of explainer introductory videos that compare like Flight Rising to Everskies or to Neopets to kind of capture that audience. So, so Ubi says you could do a poll of what broad topic people want video essays on. And yeah, I think I'm going to keep doing that. I kind of was trying that with this most recent poll to see like which direction to go. So I think I might keep that up to see what, I mean, of course it's limited to self-reporting, and like the challenge of the poll is you only have so few characters in order to get the content in. And so Comment asks a question. Comment says, would you ever do a video on any pet sim pipe dreams you've had? An acquaintance and I have been brainstorming for a hypothetical pet sim, which seems like a fun and niche concept. So very early on in the existence of this channel, I teased me doing such a thing, me sharing my ideas for a pet sim. I've actually put together a couple of decks, presentations, on games that I would be interested in building. But you have to keep in mind that was in like what, 2017, 2016. So since that has come to pass, quite a few of those ideas have been put to work, and other people found the niche that I had also found. Like, it's not surprising, right? Like, great thinkers tend to think alike, or if there is an opportunity to seize upon, folks will do so. And so I'm not surprised that a lot of the areas that I identified have been advanced by others, and it just kind of, it feels like duplicitous for me to now talk about those ideas. Hello there, Biohazard FE. But I do have like some collateral. I mean, maybe it's something interesting worth talking about. I don't know how. It's a very good suggestion, and I appreciate the suggestion. I'll think further about it. Maybe like a members only video. What I'm thinking about doing with the members only thing on YouTube is that perhaps I will release videos to members only, and then like a week later release it to the general population, or I don't know, behind the scenes stuff. I would really like to do a like limited series, or like podcast perhaps, a limited podcast or limited series about Tyra Banks' book Model Land, because it's one of the great epics of our era, and I just don't think that it's received the level of recognition that it deserves by the broader audience, by the broader population. We should be on our knees begging Tyra Banks to give us the rest of the trilogy. Why would she withhold it from us? She could be the next J.R.R. Tolkien, but she's under-recognized in her time. this going on. So I shall be streaming for 9 minutes more. So Comet says that they support the idea of a delayed release to the general channel after a limited release to supporters. Yeah, and I think the whole idea here is that I don't want to gatekeep my content, right? Like I spend time and effort from making a video, and I don't want to not release it to everybody, right? Like that's just a silly thing to do. So Billy Townsend, hi Billy, how you doing today? Says, have you ever tried Rescreatu? And it's so hard to say. Oh, hi Linda, how are you doing, Linda? It's been so long. Thank you for joining us, Linda. I miss you. So Billy says, have you ever tried Rescreatu? And I believe I have. You just have to keep in mind that like if it's a game out there, I've like made an account at some point. It's whether or not I committed anything about the game to memory. Because like that's one of the reasons why I have this channel is because there's just so much out there that had very little coverage and like explaining the nuances. And so if I thought something might be something, like I made an account and I dabbled. But in most of the cases, I did not feel the draw to continue making the content and to continue with the game. So Osa Wooby says the Tyra Banks book idea sounds good. Yeah, so the whole idea, so I recently lent my copy to my friend who was entertained by the concept. And like the whole idea was that I would go chapter through the book and make maybe like a video about each chapter or about like the geography or like the implications of like the novel, like the world building. It's a mess of a book. And I think it's worth further examination. Linda says, it's been so long. I'm so happy to pop on here and see you streaming. Oh, I appreciate that, Linda. So, Linda is a long-time supporter. I mean, many of you folks have been with me for a really long time, and I just appreciate your continued support in our various seasons of life. So, how do we feel about this microphone? I think I'm mixing microphones on the video that I'm working on right now. I may try to fix that today and just do like a little voiceover to fix things up. All right, so okay, we're gonna exalt one of these guys. But how are we feeling about this microphone? Renato, hey Renato, we were just talking about longtime supporters of the channel, so it's good to see you. Renato says, oh, Flight Rising stream, let's go. Osa Wooby says, you could also do a video on how insane the Tyra Banks show was. Yes. Oh my god. Like, there's so much Tyra Banks content out there just asking to be made. And there was this joke at work. So I've been producing this podcast at work for like 4 years now. Emmy winning. Anyways, and there was this joke for a long time that I was going to start my own podcast called Bonk on Banks, and it would just be me talking about Tyra Banks. But that's a lot of work, and I wouldn't be able to make any pet sim videos. But if I did a limited series where like maybe once a month for like 6 months I covered something about Tyra Banks, that's much more doable. And like covered different things about Tyra. I keep doing that. Okay, here we go. Sorry. I just love to do a full screen takeover of the Coliseum. I mean, I've done quite a few videos on Tyra Banks. So the verdict is that the mic sounds good, it's very clear. So the reason why I bring it up is because I've been like dabbling in different mics for the last like 2 or 3 videos, and I'm getting like mixed reviews about which microphone is better, and they do sound very different. So I'm just keeping an eye to that. Bunny Kisses says, I like the idea of a series like that, any topic. I mean, if I'm really clever, I would stage the series in such a way where it could work as either a video or as a podcast, so that the visuals would be able to stand on their own, but the audio would also be able to stand on its own. So then I would be able to release it both ways. It's just deciding, like, is this like a solo project, or do I want to bring in folks I know to be like guest hosts, etc. That's kind of the part that I've been noodling on, so to speak. And if so, is it people that I personally know, or are they other creators, right? Is it a virtual collaboration, or is it an in-person collaboration? So these are things I think about. All right, so I've got 3 minutes to fling off all of these dragons. So it looks like we've entered crunch time. There shall be no more if only I could think, that'd be great. There shall be no more Colosseum. Okay, that's cool. We're locked up. I'm trying to do too many things at one time. My computer cannot handle having so many dragon pages open at once. Okay. So I shall release that dragon from my battle party, and I shall close that. So if you got anything you want to say in these final 3 minutes, go ahead and say it now. All right. So we are going to go ahead and mash that enter button in order to release these dragons from the confine of their marketplace shackles. We're freeing them from the market stall, so to speak. Or I could just, no. So, okay, which ones remain in market? So every Imperial is free from the market. So I'm just going to go like this. Is there a way to filter my current listings? No. Okay. So the baby shall stay in market, but the adults are the ones I'm freeing. Oh, so Ubi says, hi, Mom. All right. So that's the message in these final moments of the stream. And Bunny says, to be perfectly honest, if a YouTube I watch releases a podcast version of any episode, I usually lean podcast. I really don't watch a lot of visuals. Yeah, so that's how I feel about, I also feel that way about Fly Rising. I think that about YouTube content. I think there's a greater opportunity for audio only content to proliferate than necessarily visual and audio content. Like, if you're able to develop one to stand alone, then you ought to. Comment says Flight Rising needs a big overhaul for listing auctions and putting stuff in Crossroads. Yeah, I agree that the system could be maneuvered in some way. I think that they're working on more feature-oriented design implementations than UX at this time. I'm not actually sure what they're working on. Probably shouldn't speak from a place of authority on that. All right, how much do you guys think that we will make from doing this act? Oh, we've got Calico here. All right, so I'm going to stay on until I fling all these dragons. So it may be a couple of minutes yet, because I'm now going through the process of naming them all. Oh my, all right, so let's just start flinging. And then we will, Renato says, what is your favorite ancient breed so far? I would say I like the aberrations. Those are the double-headed ones, right? I always love the idea of a double-headed creature, like the Hissy on Neopets, the mutant Hissy. Long-time supporter of that. I've long found that to be a really interesting, visually, creatively. I really like that idea. Altogether, I do not breed very many, or I guess I do not house, and therefore I do not breed very many ancient dragons. I more preoccupied with the modern dragons on Flight Rising. It's what I know, and I'm not dedicating enough time to the website to learn something new. So Jitski says, would you do a video on Go Supermodel? So I did do one about their crowdfunding, and I have not really checked back in since then. Calico says that their favorite is the Undertide. So I really need to pull them up to know. Yeah, so Jitski says they resurrected the browser game. Yep. So I did a video on the crowdfunding to get that back up, and then I played for a little bit. I know that they were experiencing some problems with just the fact that it's like an ancient game and they're trying to like make it work. Like there were some technical challenges that they were experiencing, but I have not dug into it very much. I do love doll dress up games a lot. I think that that niche is very interesting. So, Bunny Kisses says, as someone who has also limited time to play games, I like video topics like how to get back into XYZ, XYZ game dailies, how to maximize 20 minutes in game time. Yeah, I really like that too. I like that concept, especially since I've gotten back into Neopets now. It's just like knowing what to prioritize on Neopets is always a challenge, like to remember which dailies are even worthwhile. So Comet says, oh yeah, Paul Burrow's alpha is fast approaching. Have you looked into signing up? Don't I have a thing with Paul Burrow? Is that the one that I did the partnership with? I can't speak to it. I do like Paul Burrow. I'm a fan of their situation. Right? Am I thinking of the right one? You know what I wish would happen? I wish Clan Heart would happen. The other day I was on Facebook. I don't go on Facebook very often. And I saw the artist that was the partner developer, not a developer, but was the main talent of Clan Heart. Their page was recommended to me, and I was like, heck yeah, like, I love this artist. I want all of that work to come through. Paige says, would like an update on any of the games that you used to play. Yeah, maybe that might be worth doing, just going through and like doing an update on like where is it now. Paige says, still in Clan Hearts discard, no updates for a while. Yeah. I don't think, I mean, it did change hands. And then for a while it was actually like kind of like they had like a limited access actual trial of gameplay. Like you could actually do stuff on there. In like the last 5 years, you could have seen actual gameplay in Clan Heart. So, yeah, Bunny Kisses says you have a Kickstarter video about Parboro. Yes. And I think yeah, it's just the whole thing is about partnerships with games is that I'm just not able to lend it the attention that I should like to lend a partnership with a game. So a lot of developers reach out and they want to do some sort of partnership, but I simply do not have the bandwidth to do all the proper vetting and just to develop in a researched opinion. All right, so I've exalted all those dragons, so now we shall go back to Roundsy's Raffle Roulette, and I'm going to pull up a calculator because I want to just do it right the first time. See how many tickets I can buy. I can purchase 1,121 tickets. All right, so let's see. So I've purchased 3,406 out of a total 315,858,000. So that's just about 1%. Oh, we've got these are rookie numbers. I've got to do more if I want to get that Earth Sprite. So I shall continue on this effort. The one thing that I could do that I'm not doing is I could convert my gems into treasure. Not doing that. But anyways, that's something that I could do. But I mean, most of these gems came from the last sprite that I sold. It's just a lot of effort. My goodness. Barking dog. Okay. All right. So Bunny says, I also like empirical data / statistics on games about really anything because I find that interesting, like the market studies you did. Yeah, I really like doing that kind of stuff. I just need to be moved by the spirit. And then Flight Rising, Calico said, could update its combat. It's very repetitive, and I agree, it is. And Calico says, also would love a garden or fish pond for some sort of a way to gain more food or maybe even familiars on the side. Yeah, so right now I'm sitting pretty in my bestiary. Look at that. 0 undiscovered. Ugh. Flight Rising. It's a vocation. This game is a vocation. All right, so anyways, I am going to do my homework now. Thank you very much for joining me on this stream. I really appreciate you guys' continued support. And I shall see you in the videos.